Best of r/confessions episode 16. Subscribe for edit videos daily. I hit my wife back after years of abuse and lost custody of my kids. I'm so lost in life now. I took years of physical and mental abuse from my now ex-wife just to lose my temper one day, and now my whole world's gone. Is this my fault? Thank you. Next. I tricked my daughter and made her think I'm hip. My teenage daughter loves music. It's an integral part of her identity. I like 90s old rock, and while she does too and has an eclectic taste in general, she prefers recent rap hip hop, Travis Scott, Kid Cudi, Kanye, etc. When driving, I always told her whoever drove got to pick the music, and anytime she gave me grief about what I would put on, I would switch it to stuff like Nat King Cole or Tom Jones or Yanni or Sports Talk and blast it. The other day, I took her to get her driver's license and she passed. So she's all excited and declares she's driving us home, and as soon as she gets behind the wheel she informs me that the driver picks the tunes. I'm like, hey kid, you did great, you're the DJ. So she pulls up her rap playlist and off we go. As we're driving home, she's totally focused on the road, especially because we're on the freeway and the traffic is pretty heavy. I'm texting her mom and her brother and sister about how she passed and all that, but also, every time a new song starts, I switch over and Shazam it. She has Apple CarPlay up on the screen and maps, so no song info is visibly available. Then while the song is playing, at some point I casually ask, hey, is this? And I'll name the artist and the exact mix version of the song. The first couple of times, she's like, yeah it is. Have I played it for you before? I tell her maybe, I've heard it somewhere. By the fourth or fifth song, she's like, WTF. Dad, how do you know all of these? I figured it was best to leave her amazed, so I never told her. Thank you. Next. I've been loving life in lockdown. First up, let me just say, I'm not lazy. I've worked since I was 15. Always had a job, always worked, and worked damned hard. I'm now 32. I have a wife and 2 wonderful twin boys. My wife works 2 days a week. Since COVID we've been in total lockdown since the end of March. We haven't left the house at all. We have to shield because one of our boys suffers with CCTGA, congenitally corrected transposition of the greater arteries, basically a rare heart condition where things are the wrong way around in his heart. We can't risk him getting the infection, so we had a letter from our doctor and both of us have been off work since. Luckily we're still both getting paid in full. Men haven't been this lucky. I've had the occasional set of work sent to me by my employer, which was agonizing. 2 weeks worth of work to be done in 3 days. Didn't sleep on these occasions, but thankfully, they've been few and far between. My job is normally intense and I get stressed out because they put so much pressure on us to get so much work done in such a short space of time. But, I've loved lockdown life. We're spending time as a family. My little ones are nearly 2 and for most of their life I've been going to work before they get up and coming home 2 hours before their bedtime. This time has been great. I've become a better father, husband, and person. I'm cooking better food. I've written a book, and almost finished another one. I'm less stressed, and I'm loving my life. One of my managers phoned a couple of weeks ago and said you must be bored out of your mind stuck in with 2 kids every day, but really, I'm not. I'm dreading things going back to normal. I've always been a hands-on dad, but it's been amazing to spend more time with my kids. Thank you. Next. Whenever a YouTuber starts talking about their sponsor, I just skip past all that until the video starts again. YouTube ads don't work like companies think they do. Thank you. Next. I resent my ex after I helped her get over being raped, possibly trigger warning. Before my ex and I started dating she had only been with 2 guys, one being the man we raped her. When we first got together, Liv was amazing for both of us because we connected so well. When we first started to fool around she would randomly get quiet, which would make me stop, and when I'd ask her what's wrong she'd burst out in tears because she felt so bad that I stopped and wouldn't be able to finish and get off. Obviously I'd cuddle with her and get her to calm down. One day she finally told me that she had been raped. I consolidated her and we talked for a while. After that it would happen a lot. Either she'd ask me to stop or she'd randomly get quiet and I'd stop. She'd always start crying because she felt so bad about stopping. I just felt so terrible about the whole thing and didn't care about the sex or finishing. I just sincerely wanted to make her happy and comfortable. She wanted to have sex a lot, but every couple times it'd happen again. Slowly she was getting more and more comfortable having sex again and being confident about it too. Eventually she started to love it and we'd never stop because of it anymore. We dated for like 4-5 years until she cheated on me with my supposed best friend. A whole nother story. I know I'm going to sound like a huge pose for this, but I never got a thank you from her. Not that I ever expected one. But she went from literally not able to have sex to loving it again to fucking my ex-best friend, and I feel like I suffered a lot mentally helping her. I felt so bad that there really wasn't much I could do to help besides comfort her and be there for her. I couldn't take her pain away, which absolutely killed me. I couldn't go back at him and stop it from happening. I honestly hated it and felt so terrible about it because I cared so much about her, and in the end I got fucked over by her. I helped her gain her confidence back, only for her to turn around and fuck my best friend. I wish I never met her. She ruined my life. She pushed me away from all my high school friends to the point where I'd only hang out with her, and my friends completely stopped hitting me up to hang out. I still haven't been able to fix those friendships and it's been a couple years. Thank you. Next. I just nutted to a memory of my ex-GF smiling and started crying right after. It was literally just a vague memory of her smiling when we hung out together sometime. I guess post-nut clarity hit a little worse than usual. Thank you. Next. I've 32F been in love with my best friend 33F since middle school. I've known I was a little gay since I was a kid. I just liked looking at those mailed Victoria's Secrets catalogs for a little too long. Shout out to Miranda Kerr. However, I also really liked boys for some reason. It wasn't until middle school I realized bisexual was an option. Younger me was ecstatic. Anyways, at my school there was a surprising amount of LGBT couples, specifically girls. One of the couples were kind of my friends. We had the same classes and did the same activities. I was closer with one of the girls who later became my best friend. She was absolutely gorgeous, smart, still the kindest person I've ever met. She made me blush. She still does sometimes. But I'm respectful of people's relationships, so I never said anything. We ended up going to the same high school. She and her GF broke up, but she really wasn't the type to be single for too long. She had a series of long-term boyfriends throughout high school. And I had my own long-term relationship as well. But there were still parts of my heart that loved the way she fit under my chin when we hugged and the color of her eyes. We went to separate colleges, but we would keep in touch regularly. She'd tell me about her crushes and life. I'd tell her about mine. All was well. She started dating a really nice guy who she's still with. They have a baby. I'm his godmother. I love that kid more than anything. He's got her eyes. I think at some point I'll let the idea of her go. We will always be friends and that's enough for me. Looking back, it was all a crush, but she definitely set the standard for my future attraction/relationship to girls, so to speak. I love the person she was, is, and will be. I've quite literally seen her at her worst, awkward middle school phases, and thought she was the most beautiful person. To me, that's how she will always be, beautiful.